What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a weekly gaming news show, the podcast where two seasoned video game players talk about the week's news. We are your hosts. My name is Trenell, but I also go by the name True Sonic, and I'm here as always with the homeboy Todd, or as I like to call him, Up Jump the Bookie. How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's going on? How's your week been going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's been a pretty solid week for me. Got a lot done as far as creating content on YouTube. I got some videos out, did some live streams, so I feel pretty accomplished. How about yourself?
Same old week, man.
Same old.
Driving the daughter to swimming, going to work, and driving her to gymnastics, and going to work. That's it.
She like runs your life right now, dog.
Pretty much, man.
Life revolves around her. Well, that's all well and good.
I'm an unpaid Uber driver.
You get paid in hugs and kisses.
Not even.
Damn.
I get paid in Daddy Can I Have.
Oh, wow. Requests out here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, we want to thank you all for tuning in. As you guys know, we go live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on your favorite streaming platform. We are currently live on Twitch, on Mixer, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Make sure you hit us up on our social medias. Links and everything will be in the description. You can also see them at the bottom corner of the screen. With that said, let's go ahead and get into our first segment, which is the weekly icebreaker. And if you're unfamiliar with the weekly icebreaker, it's just a question that we like to ask between the two of us to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming related topics. Most of the time, we like to go off the cuff sometimes, but we primarily like to keep it gaming related. And if you would like to submit a question to us, you can do so via our social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter. You can also leave comments in the comment section of wherever it is that you are consuming this media. Just use the hashtag weekly icebreaker and ask us a question, and we'll definitely answer it live on the show. So let's go ahead and get into this week's weekly icebreaker question. And this comes from our good friend O. He gave us a handful of questions that he would like to hear from us. And here's the first one. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. And it is, what genre of game have you not played in a while, and why? And Boogie, I'll let you start off.
There's been a bunch, because all I play right now are first-person shooters.
Oh, wow.
If I think about it, because I guess everything is based on first-person shoot. I mean, the action-adventure games are first-person, and most of the stuff is. I haven't played a platformer in a while, and I like platformers. I even have Cuphead that I haven't broke the seal on yet.
For shame.
Yeah, for shame. Yeah,
that is a classic right there, dude.
Yeah, so I haven't played platformers. I have a couple that I'm going to play at some point. But yeah, platformers, and it's just mainly because I've just been playing other stuff. There's a lot of Destiny. Well, not recently because there's nothing to do in it. But Overwatch. I've been playing Madden now since I've gotten that, and NBA Live. I've been playing that. So that's what I've been playing. Okay. Assassin's Creed. I got to start. So eventually. I'll get back to my platformers because that's where I started. Playing. That's why I started gaming in platformers, from My Hero to Castlevania, Ghosts and Goblins, Sonic, Super Mario World. All of those games is where I got started. I cut my teeth on. So yeah, I'll get back to them at some point.
Yeah. Wow. The genre that I haven't played in a while is probably going to be the shooting genre as a whole. I haven't been playing a whole lot of shooters, primarily first-person shooters. I normally prefer third-person, which is why you'll see me playing games like Max Payne or like GTA back when that was out. I played a lot of Gears up until recently, but I just have not really been interested in shooters. I've damn near given up on Halo 5. I haven't played a Call of Duty since Infinite Warfare. Never really been big on Battlefield. Never really been big on Battlefront, so I haven't played any of those games. And I really don't see myself getting back into it until maybe the next Halo. I mean, I've always been a big Halo fan. Halo is what got me into first-person shooters. If you want to, online, I guess you can say, or like LAN parties, if you want to take out GoldenEye, Because GoldenEye was probably my first first person shooter over on the N64. That was first. That was the first right there. But yeah, just haven't really had a interest in it. And my thing is, I just haven't really been interested in any kind of competitive multiplayer game at the moment.
I can see where you're coming from, because when you play the PvP in those games, it's brutal the way the people play.
Yeah.
From the cheesy
people
tactics.
play for the dub, man, and go for the kill, go for the jugular right out the break.
and it's not as if they play in the spirit of the game. They take the shortest cut they can, and you run into a lot of cheesy tactics or bad metas where everybody's using the same loadouts.
It's called optimization, Todd.
Yeah, whatever. It's unfun is what it is.
Yeah. For me, it's not really fun. But other than that, I haven't played a sports game since like 2007 or 8. I haven't played a sports sim. So yeah, there's a lot of genres that I don't play anymore. I've been putting a lot of my time into indie games. I've been playing a lot of 2D side-scrolling beat 'em ups, a lot of some tactical games. Been playing some tactical games with Dungeon of the Endless. Been sinking a lot of hours into that. Also, I've been playing Divinity: Original Sin with Mount Lover. That's another tactical game. And just a lot of indie titles, a lot of pixel games. I'm just kind of just getting back to my roots, man. I feel like gaming has lost its way as far as the big publishers have gone. So I've resorted to not resorted, but I've been put onto the indie scene, and it's been I've been having a lot of fun for a very fair price.
Gaming is a prime example of why consolidation is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get more into that later on in the show. But yeah, that was an awesome question. And again, if you have questions that you would like to ask us for the Weekly Icebreaker, make sure you hit us up on social media. Use that hashtag Weekly Icebreaker, and we will answer your question live on stream, or live on the podcast, I should say. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic, and that's going to be the quick hits. And the quick hits are short little lightning round stories that don't necessarily deserve a deep dive, but they are stories that we want to address with you guys. So let's go ahead and get on with that with the first story. And it's dealing with our favorite company, our tried and true favorite company, Nintendo, has embraced a deal with Kellogg's. And if you're unfamiliar with Kellogg's because you don't buy name brand cereals anymore, Kellogg's is the cereal guys. You know, they got the Frosted Flakes. What else is Kellogg's? Fruit Loops, I guess.
Fruit Loops, yeah. Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Sugar Smacks. No, Sugar Smacks with the Ribbit Frog. Corn Pops.
Is that Kellogg's? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anymore. The first thing that came to mind was Frosted Flakes. But yeah Nintendo has come up with a deal with those guys. So now in your local grocery store, you'll be able to buy Super Mario cereal. And while the cereal itself isn't interesting, the box itself is, because I think it's either on the front or on the back of the box, there's something that you can use for Super Mario Odyssey via the same technology as the Amiibos.
So essentially the box is an Amiibo.
Pretty much. So you put your Joy-Con or whatever up to the box, and it'll give you like in-game like coins and moons or whatever for the game.
Yeah, it's nothing outstanding. No special characters or outfits, or not even an in-game cereal bowl. You just get you just get some coins. Coins and hearts. That's it.
Yeah, coins and hearts. So nothing game shattering, but it is pretty cool. I mean, I remember back in the day, cereal boxes used to be like the news for kids. You know, you pour your cereal, then you turn the box to the back and you read in the back like, yeah, I agree with that, or oh no, I don't agree with that. At least that's how I enjoyed my cereal, while reading the back of the box and like reading the ingredients, like freaking high fructose corn syrup. I wonder what that is.
Partially hydrogenated palm oil, man. Yeah.
I wonder if this will cause me obesity in 20 years. I wonder if I'll be fat because of this in 20 years.
Yeah. Now the cereal is only in the U.S. and those people like overseas, Europeans and Australians and Japanese, just count your blessings. You're not getting these sugar bombs for breakfast because you don't want this crap.
It's a marshmallow cereal at that too.
It's like it's direct. It's like a direct competitor to
the Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms, yeah. So you get your grain bits, and then you get the marshmallows.
Yeah.
And I mean, come on, man.
But if you're real, then you don't even eat the grain. You just eat the marshmallows and throw the rest out. That's how everybody did it when I was a kid. I don't know. I never liked that cereal, and I don't like I just said, I do not buy name brands. I just went grocery shopping earlier today, and I got me a box of freaking crispy rice. I got me some Fruity O's. Like I don't buy name brand cereals. They're like $5-6.
Yeah, man. Name brand cereals are ridiculous. I mean, just a couple of years ago, it was like $3 or $4 for a box. Now it's like $5-6 for a box of cereal. I'm like, what? Captain Crunch for $5.99, you can go crunch down the hall somewhere. Get out of here.
For $1.50, I'm getting me some Admiral Crunch or whatever they call it. I don't care what they call it. It tastes the same and it costs less. Freaking third-party cereals for the win. You know, I have a theory that it's the exact same thing. By the exact same company, they just rebranded or whatever. I think it's the same thing.
You laugh, but that's true on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the drugstore and you see like the Rite Aid brand ibuprofen,
yeah.
It's the same as Advil. It's just stamped Rite Aid brand and it's cheaper. It's a generic version. It's a lot of stuff is like that.
Yeah.
And the cereals probably are no different, like you said. There's
absolutely no different.
There's a factory that makes the cereal, and it just directs it into the different boxes.
Mm-hmm. Different boxes, yep. All come from the same place. I just pay less. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And now this time we're talking about Assassin's Creed Rogue. And if you don't know what that is, this was the game that came out at the exact same time as Assassin's Creed Unity.
No. Black Flag.
No.
It came out with Black Flag. Yeah, it came
Are you
out.
Sure?
It came out at the end of the last generation, right when
I could have sworn this and Unity came out at the same. I'm about to look it up because
you might be right.
The thing is, they had one game that was exclusive to the next gen and one that was exclusive to the previous gen. That's what I think they did, because I remember I was like, well, I only have enough money for one. And this is during the time where I was kind of just like sweeping through the entirety of the Assassin's Creed line of games. So I could be wrong, but
I thought it came out in like 2014, right?
Let's take a look.
November 2014.
Okay. And then when did Unity come out?
2000. It came out the next year, because 2014 was also when Black Flag came out, right?
Black Flag came out in 2013.
2013. Oh, so you're right. It is Unity.
Yeah, Unity came out in 14 as well.
Yeah, so I'm wrong, you're right.
So yeah, November 11, 2014, we had two games that both came out at the same time. One came out they both came out on November the 11th in 2014. One for the 360 PS3 and one for the Xbox One PS4.
Right.
And like if you were a next gen type of guy, like if you wanted the latest and the greatest, you most likely, unless you was big balling, you most likely missed out on Assassin's Creed Rogue, because I did.
Yeah, I did too. And it's something I wanted to play because if I'm not mistaken, in Rogue you play as a Templar.
Right,
you play assassins.
Right, you play as a assassin turned Templar.
Right.
Because of the fact that I think he was like contracted to like kill some innocents or whatever, and he vowed to never do it again. So he went against his band of assassins, and you end up hunting down and killing all of the assassins that you worked for, all your friends and everything. And it was a pretty cool game and an awesome send-off to the 360 line of games. Because this takes place like during, it's the same engine as Black Flag, and Black Flag was highly well received as far as I am aware. I liked it a lot. So it had the ship battles and all of that. And it brought a new ideology to the world of Assassin's Creed, where you're playing the other side. This is the first time that you see things from the opposite side of the equation.
Right, exactly. It's interesting. It's something I always wanted to play, but by the time that came out, my 360 and PS3 have been gone, long gone.
Long gone. Yeah, and the
And
reason that we're bringing it back up is because apparently, and this is only a rumor at the moment, but
Right.
apparently this game is going to be re-released on current generation systems. So we
Right.
will get Assassin's Creed Rogue, or supposedly we're going to get Assassin's Creed Rogue on both the Xbox One and
the
PS4.
PS4, right? This is coming from a leak of a pair of Italian retailers. They have the game listed, and actually they had dates in March of 2018, I believe. One was the end of March, one was the beginning of April of 2018 as a release date for this. Ubisoft hasn't commented. It would make sense that this will come out. I mean, that's what these companies do now, right? They just resell you old games.
Pretty much.
But this is at least a good deal, because a lot of, like you said, a lot of people on this current gen of systems may not have didn't have a chance to play this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was at least the case for me. I didn't have enough to purchase both, so I went for Unity and was highly disappointed.
Ooh.
But yeah, so it'll be really cool if we do get Assassin's Creed Rogue on current generation consoles.
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason I never went back and purchased it. I kind of just like let it fall to the wayside, and I really feel like this game doesn't get the credit that it deserves. I mean, supposedly it's a really good game. It has an 8 out of 10 on Steam as of right now. So I don't know. It seems like a good game.
It was really well received. Now, I remember at the time a lot of reviewers and a lot of people in the gaming industry had a big problem with the fact that this came out and Unity came out, and this was a good game and Unity was a broken mess.
Right.
It was an issue where the current gen got a bad game, and last gen where a lot of people have moved on from, because remember, this is a year after. This was a full year after the Xbox One and PS4 was released. Mm-hmm. And they had, they were just starting to come into the discounts. Microsoft, I think by that time, had already talked about, if not already removed the Kinect from the Xbox One for that holiday season. And, a lot of people had already moved on or were moving on. So, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be really cool to get this game on current gen consoles. Hopefully, as like maybe it's like Xbox One Enhanced or something like that. I don't know if they're going to be rebuilding. It's probably not going to be like a remake or anything like that. It's probably just a standard port. But I feel like it's good timing too, because Assassin's Creed Origin is actually a really, really solid game, and it'll be good to kind of like follow up that experience with another good Assassin's game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So let's hope that that we get it. I mean, if not, you can probably find it for mad cheap at your local GameStop or even cheaper on Steam. But it would be nice to get like an enhanced version that takes advantage of current technology. That would be dope.
I was hoping that this will wind up in Microsoft's backwards compatibility program,
right?
And if it doesn't get there, but they release me a high res version, I'm still in on it.
Yeah, I'm still in. I'm still all in. So here's to Assassin's Creed Rogue getting the proper recognition it deserves. I feel like it deserves it, man. I'm actually anticipating. I want to play this game.
Yep.
So yeah, we have one more quick hit that we're going to address with you guys. Boogie, why don't you go ahead and take this one?
This one is regarding Playground Games. If you're unfamiliar with Playground Games, Playground Games worked with Turn 10 and Microsoft on the Forza Horizon series. They just released Forza Horizon 3, which got good reviews, and it's actually a really good game if you like arcade racing car games. It's like an open world type. But beyond that, they just doubled their studio size. And they're going to be opening a second studio. They'll hire like 200 people or so, and they're going to be working on a AAA open world RPG game.
Ooh.
There's no other details. It doesn't say if it's exclusive or not. It doesn't mention what type of I don't know what type of contracted deal they have with Microsoft, because all they've worked on, as far as I know, is Forza.
Is Forza? Yeah, that's
right. And
look at their portfolio.
Right, and that's definitely that's been a Microsoft exclusive, of course. I mean, you can say, well, it's on the PC, it's still a Microsoft platform, so it's been a Microsoft exclusive for years. They're working on something new, and I'm just wondering. The reason I brought this up is because I'm wondering if this is part of Microsoft's renewed push into exclusive content.
They need to do something, man. Because right now, it makes sense that they would give this project, or well, I'm not sure what the terms are, but it would make sense that the studio would take on that project because they have been the one outstanding Microsoft property that has been consistently selling. Like right now in the current gaming economy, when you think of Xbox, you probably think of Forza.
Right,
because they're the ones that have continuously come out with games, either the main Forza line of games or the Forza Horizon line of games, and they've for being a racing sim, they've managed to stay relevant.
Right.
Well, and I'm not even like a racing sim kind of guy, but like I could not go like when I'm looking up Xbox stuff,
it's
Forza's
always
there.
Forza's always around. Yeah, from Forza 7, and they don't work on Forza 7. They only did Horizon. Turn 10 is the Forza proper. They do Horizon, which is the playground, and again, that's a quasi open world game. I guess you can call it an open world game where you just drive around Australia. And Horizon 3, you're driving around Australia, and you can just jump into races at the fly. It'd be interesting to see what they do because Horizon has a lot of elements of RPG. It has a bit of a story mode, and it'd be interesting. And I'm just wondering if this is part of Microsoft's push, if they have an exclusive deal with this team, with this company. But they didn't just open a studio. They hired people from Ninja Theory, Rockstar North, EA Dice. I mean, they hired talent from some top studios. So they're not just getting people straight out of school. They're bringing in some experienced developers to work on this, and some good gaming minds.
Oh wow! Could this be the exclusive open world game that Microsoft needs? I mean, because remember back in the day when Grand Theft Auto was a PlayStation exclusive?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yo,
I remember people that was another Final Fantasy moment.
Right, exactly.
The PlayStation people lost their minds. Was like, oh, it's coming out for Xbox. Said, what? What did you say?
Yeah. So if Microsoft can get their hands and actually release a freaking high tier AAA open world RPG made by studios that have made like some beautiful games, because there's one thing about the Forza Horizon series, that those games are magnificent looking. Oh yeah. If we could get something even on half the scale as those Horizon games, I think Xbox, the Xbots are going to be in for a pleasant surprise.
Right.
Let's just hope that this is just one facet of that push, because we need more than just one game out here.
Right. Yeah, and hope that it doesn't get canceled in the 13th hour, like some games we know.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm saying hopefully they can actually finish it.
Right.
Yeah. So that was our quick hits. Again, if you have anything that you would like to submit to us, use our social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Just let us know any stories that you submit to us will most likely be added into our quick hits section. And again, just let us know. Definitely love engaging with you guys. So. With that, we could go ahead and move on to the meat and potatoes of this podcast, which is the top 5 news stories for the week. But before we get into that, I do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, the New Challenger Discord. Head on over to newchallenger.gg and get good at your favorite fighting game with your favorite fighting game character. Currently supporting Street Fighter V, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Injustice 2, Tekken 7, and with future games coming down the line, like Dragon Ball FighterZ, will definitely be supported. The New Challenger Discord is the perfect place for a newcomer to get into fighting games and actually get the knowledge that they need in order to compete. Supporting, one-on-one and group coaching, bi-weekly tournaments, and even like surprise giveaways. The New Challenger Discord is a fun and friendly place that you can go and learn how to play fighting games properly. So if you would like to join, go to newchallenger.gg, click the Discord button at the top left, and join the community. Big shout out to Mr. Vinegar, who is the founder of the Discord server, and also a big shout out to our good friend Mount Lover, who is a friend of the podcast and a commentator for the bi-weekly Street Fighter V tournaments. He is a coach for Street Fighter V as well as a moderator for the Discord channel itself. Big shout out to those guys. Thank you for that. We definitely appreciate you. They just wrapped up, and I was watching before the podcast. They were doing a tournament for a modded version of Street Fighter V. It's called the Mysterious mod. It's actually pretty funny. It basically gives characters all types of like different like properties and different moves and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was pretty wonky. There was some crazy combos being performed over there. I caught the tail end of it. It was actually pretty cool. So yeah, go ahead and hit those guys up. And with that, we can go ahead and move on to the top 5 news stories. And we got some bangers here for you. And Boogie, why don't you go ahead and take the first one?
Okay, so the first one is and we talked about this about a month ago, maybe a little more, was about Fortnite and the fact that Epic Games was suing a couple of players that were using cheat mods or promoting cheat mods. Mm-hmm. Well, this story is quite interesting, as it's been revealed that one of the people that are being sued is a 14-year-old kid. This 14-year-old kid, he posted to YouTube a video that was promoting the mods, showing people how to get them, showing people how to use them. And Fortnite but Epic Games wasn't too keen on that. They sent a DMCA takedown notice, and the kid decided to ignore it or not comply and kept the video up. And Epic sued. Well, this 14-year-old's mother, as mothers do, wrote a letter to the court stating that one, Epic Games is trying to use her son as a scapegoat. The funniest thing I thought was that she apparently at some point she read the terms of service that said, a kid had to be a certain age or have parents' permission, and she didn't give him permission to play this game.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, and then, and another thing was, and this one I kind of agree with her, is that they released his information, and he's a minor. I think that was, a bit
underhanded of them.
Yeah, because when a minor is in a court case, you can pull the public court records, but typically the minor's information is redacted. You don't have that information. So that was kind of crappy of Epic. But going back to this mother's letter, the laughable part is that she wrote that she didn't give him permission. Well, you brought him to Xbox, you allowed him to download it. That's implicit permission. Right. So you give him the tools. You didn't say he couldn't, and he did it. So that's implicit. But the thing that gets me is that the reason Epic Games sued them is because they basically had no choice. The way the DMCA works is if a company issues a takedown and you refuse to comply, the company at that point has 2 options: either just drop it and let you continue what their perceived violation, or they take you to court. That's just the way the DMCA works. So by him refusing to take down the video after getting a takedown notice, he essentially brought this on himself.
And we were talking about how easy it is to just like purchase things online. I mean, it was probably his mom's credit card information that was like attached to the account and all that. So it's like,
it's a free to play game, right? So you just go and download the game, right?
Well, Battle Royale, that portion, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's in trouble for, is the Battle Royale and the cheats for the Battle Royale. That's what the suit's coming. That's what the lawsuit's coming from, is that version of Fortnite, or that game mode. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a free-to-play game. And again, I didn't give him permission to do it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's parental controls. There's discussions. And
it's like you can password protect the console from making purchases as well.
Right, and or downloading.
Or downloads, yeah.
So pleading ignorance is no excuse. Like I said, the only thing I really agree with the mother on is the fact that his information was released. He is a minor. But other than that, I mean, he put it on himself. And
you reap what you sow, man. You get
Yeah.
that DMCA, you take it down, or you go to court. Like, that's
Right.
it.
And if Moms has a problem with him playing these type of games, she needs to get off of Facebook or turn off the Real Housewives and pay attention to what the 14-year-old is doing. Instead of, I mean, come on, you send a 14-year-old to his room with a PC or Xbox and PlayStations and stuff, and you go on about your business. You on your Facebook, or you watching your TV shows, or maybe you're doing some laundry or whatever. But if you're not paying attention to what your child is doing, your child is going to do stuff, and that's going to essentially get them in trouble.
Yeah.
And your argument that you didn't give him permission is it's nonsense.
Yeah.
And like I said, at the end of the day, Epic didn't really have a choice. They can either, because if they don't pursue this any further, that it's a bad precedent, right? So
Exactly.
if they let him get away with it, the next person, then they're going to have a problem with the next person that does it. It kind of just opens the floodgates. So they had to take him to court, and good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck to him. I mean, this isn't even the first lawsuit, revolving around Epic Games and the Fortnite property. We talked a long time ago about how Bluehole was seeking legal action based around like their their blatant copy of the like game style or whatever.
Right, it's nothing they can do. There's
nothing. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of talk, legal talk around the Fortnite name right now. So we'll see where this goes, and hopefully they can come to some kind of agreement where the kid doesn't get in too much trouble.
Right,
because being 14, especially during this age of the internet, man, it's like it's I don't know. It's
what's going to happen? He's a minor, so it's going to fall on it, or it's going to fall into the laps of the parents, and that's probably part of the reason why she wrote this letter. It's like, God damn it, you're going to get me in trouble because I'm going to have to pay the bill if there's a bill to be paid. But I mean, again, as a parent, there are tons and tons of parental controls built into the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Switch, and there's even parental controls built into the Steam network. So use those parental controls, and if you're not going to use it, this is the type of stuff that's going to happen. If you're just sending little Billy up to his room to go play Xbox and PlayStation, you're not monitoring or paying attention or even care what he's doing up there. This is what happens.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And this is a favorite of mine because we get to talk about the free games for PlayStation Plus as they were just recently revealed. And again, they're coming with the heat in certain games. Well, they have one banger. I
was going to say. Wait a minute.
All right, well, they got a banger. They got a banger. Okay, so first up we have for the PlayStation 4 we have Darksiders 2, the definitive edition, and this is the game that I was talking about. Darksiders 2 is a very good game, sequel to the highly coveted Darksiders 1 that came out. Takes place after the events of Darksiders 1, and you play as the Horseman of Death is who you play as in this game. And we talked about it a long time ago when it was revealed that there was going to be a Darksiders 3 that has you playing as the female horseman. So getting this for free is probably like the best thing because it give you the perfect opportunity to catch up on the franchise. So I'm definitely going to get this. I have the Steam version. It's not the definitive one. It's not that the definitive release, but I do have it on Steam. But I feel like since I'm like terribly lost and I haven't played the game in some years, I feel like just starting from scratch might be the best option. Right. And doing that with the definitive edition might be what I go for.
Yeah, I have this, and this was because I think it was last summer or last winter. There was the Capcom, the PlayStation Humble Bundle. This was included in that. It was both. It was the Darksiders 1 and 2 were both in that bundle. So I have it. But yeah, like you said, if you don't have it, It's definitely something that's definitely a must get.
Definitely.
The Kung Fu Panda game, that's like what is that? It looks like a Smash Brothers type game.
It looks like a Smash Brothers type game.
With
the Kung Fu Panda
Panda characters. Yeah, you can pass on that if I were you. Then let's not forget the PlayStation 3, because there's still a ton of PlayStation 3 guys out there.
Yep.
You got X-Blaze, Lost Memories, and Siberia Collection. For the Vita, there's Forma 8 and the Wanted Core. But Forma 8 is a cross-buy title, so that would be playable on your PlayStation 4 as well. So you're actually getting 3 titles this month. And then there's European players are getting a game called That's You.
Mm-hmm.
And then
this has been on there for a while as just like an extra game,
right?
Because you know how sometimes they'll have like an extra like VR game or something, or AR game, something like that. This has been
the
this
VR
has been on.
That You's been on there for a while.
Yeah, that was like before the Until Dawn in America. It's That's You or whatever.
Yeah. That's right. Because then Until Dawn is for the PSVR.
Yeah.
And that's until I think January. You have until January to get that. I remember when it first came out.
Yeah, they'll keep the VR games on there for a few months.
Right. So yeah, those are your PlayStation Plus games. I mean, there's one very good game in there. The rest of them are, whatever.
Yeah, I said bangers. I should have been more specific. There's a single banger.
Right.
There's one.
It's a good game. I think it was from 2012. It's a pretty old game.
Yeah, it's pretty old, but the definitive edition just came out like a couple of years ago. Yeah, it couldn't have been that too long ago.
Yeah, but it's still a good game. It's definitely worth a take for no cost at all.
Yeah. The initial release date was in 2012. I do not see the release of the definitive. 2015. Yeah, 2015. So a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay. October 2015. Yeah. So I highly recommend it. I'm gonna download it just so that I can have an excuse to start from the beginning and actually beat this game before the third one that I'm definitely going to get comes out.
Do we have a release date for the third one at all? I remember they just did like a teaser trailer only. I didn't see anything else.
I don't believe so. I think it's just 2018. Yeah, they don't have anything set in stone. 2018. Okay. Yep. Cool. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next story. And again, we're talking about Boogie's absolute favorite company, Nintendo. And because people just can't seem to stop talking about numbers, so here we go. Right.
Yeah, so Nintendo. I mean, this here in the States, we had Thanksgiving was last week. Then we had Black Friday, which is this big sales day after Thanksgiving, and the new big sales day, which is also totally made up, just like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Yeah. But all 3 days, and yes, there were stores open on Thanksgiving, and I have you listed the stores that were open on Thanksgiving, and I will not shop at any of those stores this holiday season. That's my private protest. I don't. If you're open on Thanksgiving, I don't shop at your store during the holidays at all. But yeah, so the Nintendo Switch was the number one selling console. In fact, it was the number one selling toy or gadget because it outsold not only the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, but it also outsold like things like the Google Chromecast, Hatchimals, which was a hit toy last year. Some creepy little toys.
Yeah, that is a creepy little device. I don't know what you want to call it. That thing is weird.
It's super creepy. But yeah, that and what else? Roku's, and it outsold a lot of stuff. It's kind of surprising because the Nintendo Switch didn't have any discounts on anything.
Nope.
I think you can get. I think there was like a $10 or $15 discount on extra Joy-Cons. They're normally $79.99. I've seen them around for like $64 to $67.99. But other than that, there were no discounts on any of the games that I saw.
Can you even connect more than one Joy-Con to a con? Well, yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah. I think it's even up to 8.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Definitely at least 4, but I think it could be up to 8. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so it is number one selling console. When we look at it, just outside of everything else, but we just look at it inside of the gaming world, it doesn't necessarily surprise me. I know the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One were cheaper by $100, but those systems have been out for what, 3 years now, right?
Anybody that has it already has it,
right? I mean, PlayStation's already got 60 million shipped. I think Xbox is in the like 25 to 30 million range. So, and Nintendo just has a few million. Like I think the last I saw was like something like 6 or 7 million sold. So if you look at it that way, there's a ton of people that already have PlayStations and Xboxes that aren't looking to buy them, but they do want to get a Switch. Right. So it's not that surprising. It does surprise me that it was beating out some other like random toys. The Google Chromecast. I mean, whatever.
Right.
The Hatchimals thing, I think
that's a fad that kind of just like faded out.
Right.
Hatchimals was huge last year for
exactly.
some odd reason.
It was a big toy last year. I think toys are now are just like some of the games now are popularized by YouTubers.
Yeah, because I saw them on YouTube. That's the first time I saw a Hatchimal was some YouTuber just like talking about it.
Yeah, the kids, all the kids, they get on the YouTubes and see who all the toys are, and that's what they want to get. So, but yeah, I don't know. Good for Nintendo. At least they got stock.
Yeah, haven't been hearing a lot of stories of them being short.
Yeah, I was just in Toys R Us. They had a bunch of them. They had at least a dozen of them, at least, sitting on the shelf. So that was good. Yeah, but yeah, it's just whatever.
Yeah, whatevs.
Yeah, like I said, is inside the gaming world is not surprising. Just outselling some of the toys, at least, especially some of the cheaper toys, it's a bit surprising.
Yeah,
just because of how
the price
expensive it is. And let me tell you something about the Nintendo Switch. It is the most expensive console out there. And when you look at the base console, even when you look at the PlayStation, the Nintendo, and the Xbox, what you get in the box and what you need to fully enjoy it, Xbox and PlayStation are both by far better values. Just if looking at the storage space alone.
Yeah, storage space. If you want an actual controller instead of the Joy-Cons, chargers. If you want all like, it's like the guy when I bought mine. Like the guy was trying to upsell me, and like it was coming out to like almost $500 for the Switch, one game, a Pro controller. And I think I wanted like a Joy-Con charger or something like that. He was trying to sell me that, and I was like, bro, like that's like $500. I'm not spending that right now. Get out of here.
That's what I walked out at, because I got the Switch, I got Splatoon 2, I got the Pro controller, and I got the I brought the screen protector because the stories of how the screen was scratched up.
Yeah, mine doesn't leave the dock, so I'm cool.
Yeah, so the screen's getting scratched out. So I got the screen protected. That was like an extra $10, and then on top of that, I wound up going like I didn't buy it from the store because I know I can get a discount on memory cards. But I bought a memory card that was another $50. So yeah, I mean, when you add all of that stuff up, and when you look at the Xbox or PlayStation, you get the unit and you get a game, or you could be really smart, buy the PlayStation for $299 or Xbox for $299 or $189, what it is. Pay $60 for your subscription, and you got at least two free games on the PlayStation immediately, and 4 games on the Xbox immediately that you don't have to spend extra for.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I did when I bought my my PlayStation 4. It came with the Nathan Drake collection, so that was 3 games already. And then, like when I got my PlayStation Plus account, there was 2 free games waiting on me. So, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, people, all the Nintendo fanboys are gonna, jump on that high horse. And if you go look, even if you go right now, you go look at some of those forums where they compete in forums like, "Oh, Nintendo Switch is the greatest thing, is outselling everything," and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
I mean, numbers don't lie. It is selling.
Right.
Way more than I anticipated it would. Honestly, I did not think it was going to sell at the rate that it is.
Right,
especially with the library that it currently has.
They got the two
But yeah, like
games.
seamlessly after the launch, they have been releasing, top tier, Nintendo only properties.
Yeah.
So they've kept they kept it afloat with how seamless they've been releasing the games.
Right.
Like every other month, there's like a major title that's only on the Switch, and I don't know. But I feel like we've talked enough about the Switch on this podcast, so let's go ahead and move on. It's selling like gangbusters. That's all you really need to say.
Right, it is.
But now we're gonna get into the controversial side, of gaming, because we've been talking about it on this podcast. I'm sure you've heard it everywhere else. These game developers and publishers are out of control, man, and they're being reeled in very swiftly by their consumer bases,
their fan base,
their fans and consumer bases. And this next story that we have is dealing with Bungie and Destiny 2. And since that's your game, Boogie, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the lead on this. So let's get into it.
Okay, so Bungie, with Destiny, the modus operandum for Bungie was right before they released the DLC, they would have 3 streams, right? They have one stream to talk about the PvE, one stream to talk about PvP, and one stream to talk about loot. They did their first. They have a DLC coming out this Tuesday, the 5th, the Curse of Osiris. And they did the first 2 streams, and it was supposed to be doing the 3rd stream this past Wednesday. They canceled the stream because, if you remember last week, we talked about the XP controversy where they were sandbagging XP gains and weren't transparent about it. And then when they decided to finally fix it, they just doubled the amount of XP you needed to move up to levels. And the biggest controversy on that is, one, they didn't say anything about it. The community figured it out. 2, the level up get you what's called the Bright Ingrams, which is Bungie's microtransaction item. That's the item you can actually buy with real money if you wanted to.
Right.
So that that's kind of, it was quite skeezy if you ask me. But they canceled their live stream, which I thought was a bit cowardly, if to put it lightly. They canceled their live stream, and instead of doing a live stream, they just released a huge blog post on what they're going to do. That they make their promises. We're going to make the game more rewarding for all the in-game content. We're going to be more transparent. We're going to talk to you more, which they've always said, and they never do. It's a long laundry list of things that they're going to be doing. It'd be interesting to see how it turns out. When you look at the forums, and one of the ones that's the more popular is the Destiny Reddit, right? r/Destiny the game. When you go in there, there's still people that's just upset.
Yeah, it's freaking salty, man.
Very salty, right? And the problem I have is this is the same thing they did with Destiny 1. It's the same type of mistakes, they did with Destiny 1, outside of the XP thing, because the microtransactions didn't come into Destiny until very late. I think just last year is when it really first started. At the beginning, the first 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, there were no microtransactions at all. This is something that they kind of just threw in. It was actually quite, I think it was like right after the stupid Overwatch came out.
Right.
That they started adding microtransactions. But it's the same thing. They release a game, and for all intents and purposes, this game is not finished. It's missing a lot.
What game is these days? Like, what game these days is released with all of the content intact, and there's nothing else to be added in at a later date? Like, it's just par for the course.
Yeah, the problem I have with that is with this game, they know their community. They knew what their community wanted. They actually, towards the last 2 years, with the last 2 expansions, what's the last? The Taken King and then the last one was the Rise of Iron. Those last 2 expansions, they kind of gave the community what they wanted as far as content, in-game content, and playability. Towards the end of the life of Destiny, the biggest complaint wasn't the content and wasn't not having anything to do in the game. The biggest complaint was PvP balancing. That was the biggest complaint, and that's always going to be an issue. It's hard to balance PvP with the way people find stuff out, figure out the weapons, so on and so forth. And they just went way away from that. It doesn't make sense why. And, they thrown out a bunch of promises. They don't give you any particular dates. Like the DLC is coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah, the 5th.
Yeah, but parts of the stuff like that they promised, or this stuff is going to be so much great, aren't starting until the next week, the 7th, the 12th, like a new weapon class, because people want to be able to customize their weapons, like not just add a shader to change the color, but they want to be able to mess with the perks, right?
Like a higher fire rate or something like that. Well, just mess with the stats of the weapon.
No, not necessarily. In Destiny, the weapons have perks, right? It'll have a perk like it'll say the bottom half of this magazine does extra damage, or it'll have it'll have a perk where if you get a headshot, you get faster reloads. Stuff like that. So they want to tinker with that type of stuff. And there's been in the original Destiny, the weapons would drop and you get random rolls. That's part of the replayability of the original Destiny is you wanted the quote-unquote God roll. So you keep farming the same weapon until you got the roll you wanted.
Right.
Well, what they did in Destiny 2 is each weapon has a set perk set. It's always the same. Every time the weapon is named, and each time you get that named weapon, the perks are going to be exactly the same. You can't do anything to change it, and that's been a huge issue with the game. And beyond that, again, the end game, like when you look at some of the high end content, like they have the Nightfall Strike, which is like an end game type mission. And there's 2 levels. There's a normal level, and then there's the hard level. But there's no reason to do the hard level because you get the same exact thing you get as if you did the normal
one.
Right. So it's a lot of little stuff like that. The loot, the way you get loot, they went to a token system. So when you go to the certain vendors to get the loot, it's just a random drop, and repeats are ridiculous. It's to the point where you open your packages, your engrams, and you get you open 3 engrams and you get 3 of the same exact item. Wow. So they've saying they're going to fix that type of stuff. They're going to add private matches, which was in Destiny 1 that aren't here now. That's just absent. That's coming sometime next year. They're going to add an emote wheel, so you can get emotes, but you can only put it in one slot, which is the left D-pad.
Okay.
The up, right, and down D-pad are fixed. You can't change them. So they're saying they're going to add a wheel where you can equip more than one emote. I've been asking for that for years since they put emotes in the game. I don't know why they couldn't just go run across the hall and say, "Hey, Blizzard, how'd you do it in Overwatch?"
Something.
Right. But yeah, so they'll be adding that, and I don't know. It's just, again, and I have it in here. I just think that these companies are hostile to the consumers to the point where they think about the money.
Yep.
And how they can cash in, and they don't really care about the player experience.
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. It's like they've been doing this exact same thing. This was the exact same thing. Some of the same issues that we had with Destiny 1. You would think that over the course of that game's lifespan, in going into the sequel, that we wouldn't have these issues anymore.
Right.
But then again, it's not about the player experience. It's not about, you having a better experience than you had last time. It's about just keeping you playing and keeping you content.
Right.
You're booting up Destiny. You're playing it. You're spending money on the microtransactions or what have you. They're content.
But this is the thing with the microtransactions. The way it's implemented, I'm sure there's people that's spending on it. I'm sure there is, but there's really no reason to.
Right. There's no gain as far as your abilities. Like,
not even that. Is if you just play the game, especially if you're like some of the people that's on these forums that play ad nauseum, that play like 4 to 5 hours a day. If you're just playing the game, even if you play like me, I may play 1 or 2 hours a day. If you play that much, you're going to get all of the things that come out of the Bright Ingram, the loot box, the paid you're going to get that stuff. Because as of now, I haven't played Destiny in probably a month now, almost.
Wow.
And I have everything out of those Ingrams. I had all the armor sets, I had all the emotes, I have the ships and the sparrows. I have that stuff. So I have all of the ornaments for the exotic weapons. I have all of that stuff. So there was no reason I didn't buy any. There was no reason for me to buy any. You were essentially getting like 3 a week because what they do is they give you an XP gain boost to gain for your first 3 of the week. So if you have multiple characters, I mean, it takes literally nothing.
No time.
Right. So I think my biggest issue with the XP thing was that they didn't say anything about it. Is that they were doing this underhandedly. I think that's kind of shitty. And then when they made the change to fix it, they covertly doubled the XP requirement. So that was really shitty.
Yeah, to say the least.
And again, because it's tied to the loot box, I'm gonna call all these paid microtransaction loot boxes.
Loot boxes,
right?
yeah.
But because it's tied to the loot box, it's just a horrible look.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, they had the game fine at the end of life for Destiny 1. It was fine.
Right.
All they needed to do was bring that particular system over, make some minor adjustments, and allow for better balancing in PvP, and they would have been fine. But they decided to overhaul the entire weapon system, and it's just different just for the sake of being different, not for the sake of making any kind of progress. Yeah, exactly, for making any kind of progress.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't touched Destiny 2, and I honestly don't feel like I will.
Well, speaking of,
yeah,
there's a free trial available now.
Yeah, I just saw that. I saw that earlier today. There's a free trial going on. Yeah. Is it only on PlayStation? Because that's where I saw it.
It's on everywhere.
Okay, yeah. So I saw the free trial.
Yeah, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. You can try it out.
Yeah, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I don't know. I just I don't know. I think that I could do without, all of this. I could do without all of it.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't played it in quite a while, and it's not because, to be quite honest, a lot of the changes they made, I don't necessarily mind. I'm not a fan of the weapons, just because it feels like I don't have a lot of choice.
Right.
I'd rather have the different roles, and I'm an oddball. Like, I didn't go after all of the crazy roles. I call it the meta roles, the role that everybody must have. I didn't go after that. I went after stuff that I liked, and
yeah, that's how you're supposed to play games. Right. At least that's how I play.
Right. So, now it's the weapon you like. Like, for instance, like one of the weapons I use, like when you play through the story, you get it like halfway through the story, and I've been using it ever since because I didn't find anything that I liked better.
Right.
And I've done all of the in-game content. I've done the raids and the Nightfall. The only thing I haven't touched is the Trials of 9, which is the PvP, the ultra competitive PvP version.
The ranked.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And I don't like it because I don't like the meta. When you get in there, everybody's using one particular primary, the Mida multi-tool, and either the auto rifle, which is the Uriel's Gift, or the Last Hope sidearm, and that's all they're doing. It's the same thing, and there's Titans and Warlocks throwing pulse grenades ad nauseum. It's just not fun,
right,
at all.
Hey man, that's what I said before. Is optimization. That's how you win, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and move on to the next story. We're gonna get into a little bit more when it comes to loot boxes in our long form. So to kind of get a change of pace, let's go ahead and move on to something else here. And now we're going to be talking about the 2017 PlayStation Awards, which took place where did this go down?
It's in Japan.
Yeah, this is in Japan.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and this covers Japan and Asian countries.
Right.
It's not anywhere else. So, and these awards are mostly based on sales.
Right. Because I wanted to ask you, have you ever heard of the PlayStation Awards? I've never heard of this.
I thought we talked about it last year. Maybe we
I don't know.
We might have talked about it pre-show and decided not to, because it's just strictly in Japan. We just decided not to do it on air.
Yeah.
But I remember talking about it last year, at least discussing it at some point.
Right, and it's crazy because we talked about previously on the podcast that these companies are doing their own everything. They have their own kind of like E3. They have their own Tokyo Game Show. They have their own award shows. It's like, geez.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty. How long has this gone on? That's a good question.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before. What you got?
Well, Wikipedia doesn't have anything.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure.
PlayStation Awards 2017.
I'm seeing as far back as 2015.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did this.
Maybe.
Let's take a look.
I don't know. Well, anyway, it went down. Yeah, while you're looking that up, I'll just go for it. It went down over the past week, and there's a few categories that we have here. And what's weird is that while they have multiple categories, multiple games win in every category. Like, right. I don't understand that.
Well, the way their categories is based on sales. So they have one category that's the User's Choice Award, right?
Right.
And that's the top 10 games that's voted by the public in these territories, Japanese and Asia. And those top 10 games were Battlefield 1, Final Fantasy 15, Resident Evil 7, Neo, Nier Automata, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Wise 8, Dragon Quest 11, and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I mean, none of these are. I'm not surprised by any of these at all.
They're essentially the PlayStation exclusives,
right?
And a few like multi-platform games.
Right. The one that surprises me that's on this list is Battlefield 1, because from my understanding, shooters over in Asian countries usually don't go over well. Right.
Yeah, that's mostly a Western thing.
Right. Battlefield 1 being up there is surprising, but none of the other games really surprised me.
No.
Then there's an Indie Game Award, Indie Game and Developers Award, and they noted that as indie developers that made substantial contribution to the PlayStation library. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 games on this one. Is Mystery, Jinsokyo TOD, 3-on-3 Freestyle, and Undertale. The PSVR award goes to, and these are the top selling PSVR games: Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Fairpoint, and Summer Lesson Alice in Snow. And when I say top selling, is top selling by units. Those the top 3 games that sold the most VR games in Asia. The PlayStation PSN award are for games that sold the most, that had the most revenue on the PlayStation Network. So when you look at that, you think of microtransactions or even digital sales. Mm-hmm. And this went to Phantasy Star Online 2, which is probably microtransactions. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, which is probably microtransactions, and FIFA 17, which I know are
definitely
microtransactions.
Definitely microtransactions.
And then there's the gold prize. Games that sold over 500,000 or 500,000 copies are Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Again, two games I wouldn't think would be very popular over there, but they are, apparently. FIFA 17 and FIFA 18. What's surprising is FIFA 18, the cutoff date is September 30th. So I think FIFA 18 came out in August, right? The end of August?
Yeah, something like that.
So it sold 500,000 copies in about a month, which is
outrageous.
Yeah, but soccer is big everywhere else.
Yeah, FIFA's huge.
Then you got Horizon Zero Dawn, which is surprising. I thought it would have sold more, but
yeah, same here.
Nier Automata, Neo, Rainbow Six Siege, Resident Evil 7, Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection, and Yakuza 6, which is also surprisingly low to me.
Yeah, especially over there. That's primarily an Eastern game,
right?
Like we had to beg and plead to get that over here in the West. Yeah.
Exactly. The platinum winners, as you would imagine, are the million sellers, which are Dragon Quest 11, Final Fantasy 15, and an oldie but goldie. A golden oldie.
Yep, Grand Theft Auto 5. Still selling copies after all these years.
And then the double platinum winner. There's only one double platinum winner, and I bet you this probably made them sick.
Oh yes.
But double platinum is Minecraft, and yes, Minecraft make them sick because it's a Microsoft property, right?
Yep, Mojang, Microsoft.
So yeah, those are the award winners. And like I said, other than the User Choice Award and the Indie Game Award, everything else is strictly on how many units or how many units were pushed, how many dollars were earned.
Right.
So I mean it's an interesting look into what they're doing in the Eastern world. Like I said, I'm surprised with the number of shooters. There's 3 of them, right? 4.
Battlefield,
Rainbow Six,
and Call of Duty
Infinite. Showed up. Call of Duty Infinite and Grand Theft Auto.
And Grand Theft, I guess.
Yeah, those typically aren't hugely popular out east in the Eastern world, but they were this year apparently.
Yeah, the only one that I can 100% agree with is the PSVR award for Resident Evil 7 because that's the PSVR game.
That is the VR game, period.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's the only one.
It's the only one.
It's the only one that matters. So yeah, for a full list, you can check the link. We'll have a link in the description to show you a full list of the categories and the games that won. I mean, we read off all of them, but if you want to see it for yourself, link will be available for you down in the description. And that will conclude our top 5 news stories. Let us know what you guys think about it. Do you agree with our opinion? Do you disagree? We would love to hear your opinion on this story. Whether it's the one we just talked about or any of the stories in the top 5 or in the quick hits. Leave your comments down in the comment section below, and let us know what it is that you think about these stories. But I think it's about that time to get to a topic, and this has been like a reoccurring topic, and we talked about it a little bit earlier today, and that's loot boxes. It does not appear that loot boxes are going to be going anywhere soon. So here we are. The long form for this week is going to be This Week in Loot Boxes, because there was actually a lot of news that came out involving loot boxes, and some of it that I feel we should discuss. Now, a lot of people are starting to get like news fatigue, when it comes to the loot box story. But it's my personal opinion that as soon as we stop talking about it, as soon as it's not on everybody's mind, and by everybody I mean the general public, that's as soon as they'll get back to business as usual.
That's right. I agree. They're just waiting for everything to die down, and then they'll just start ramping it up again. And we got to keep our eye on this, and keep letting these companies know that this is not what we want. We don't like it. We don't want it. Take your loot boxes and shove it.
Yeah, take your loot boxes and go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So the first story to come out of it that we want to discuss is coming from Take-Two, and we talked about Take-Two and loot boxes because of their egregious mishandling of the virtual currency system in NBA 2K18.
2K18, yeah.
We talked about that, and so Take-Two's president Cal, freaking how do you say this? Staloff?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you. Yeah, sure.
Cal Staloff. I don't know how you pronounce this guy's name, but yeah, the president of Take-Two Interactive, and if you're unfamiliar with Take-Two, they're the parent company of everybody's favorite game, like literally everybody's favorite game, Grand Theft Auto 5, and the Rockstar guys, as well as Take-Two, which does, the 2K Sports and the WWE games and all of that. They're the parent company. So the president said in a statement while he was speaking at where was he talking? I can't remember where.
Where was he?
I can't remember where he was talking.
Where was it?
It's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
I should have written it down. At the Credit Suzy 21st Annual Technology and Media Telecom Conference. Yeah. So it was a telecom conference, and he said in his statement that he believes that loot boxes are not gambling. Just flat out, loot boxes aren't gambling. He also stated that his statement aligns exactly with the ESA's statement on the topic as well.
Right.
And if you're unfamiliar with the ESA, what does it stand for?
Entertainment Software Association.
Right, the Entertainment Software Association. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about that is that Take-Two has a large stake in this company because they help fund it. They help fund the Entertainment Software Association. So it makes sense that their opinions on, loot boxes would align because, they both they want to make money,
Right.
Take-Two wants to make money, and the ESA wants to be funded. Right. So it's kind of funny.
Right. If you're unfamiliar with the ESA, they are the parents of the ESRB, right?
Right.
Of course, he's going to say that they're not gambling because loot boxes is his business. He was just on in October on all of his earnings calls, bragging about how much money the loot boxes are bringing in.
Exactly.
It's part of the reason why GTA 5 is still a hot selling game because people are awash in microtransactions with that game.
Then he also stated how going forward this is going to be the standard. We want more of this steady. What did he call it? Reoccurring purchases or something like that.
Oh yeah, what did they call it?
It was an exact statement.
Yeah, I got to pull that back up.
It was terrible.
I got to pull that back up.
But in the same conference, he also stated that game makers can't force consumers to do anything. And while I agree with that partly, I'll let you go first, Boogie. Go ahead and address that.
His choice of words, force. You can't force anybody to do anything, but you can compel. And when you compel, is just as bad as forcing.
Right, because you can't force anybody to do anything. I agree with that statement. But when I am playing, a sports sim, which my progression in that game is directly dependent on acquiring virtual currency. If it takes me hours upon hours to change my hairstyle, which cannot be previewed until I purchase it.
Until you purchase it.
And then it's a one-time use only item. So if I don't like it, I have to repurchase the previous freaking hairstyle. That's something that can compel you to spend that money.
Money. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. While you may not be forcing anybody to do anything, it's rather a compelling argument. Well, it's like, I can grind for about 4 more games or whatever in order to change my hairstyle back. or I could just spend
$5.
$5.
I spend $5 here, and the thing is that, oh, okay, it's only $5, but that adds up. You spend $5 here and $5 there and $5. Next thing you know, you spend $50.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, you spend $50 this month. Next thing you know, you spent $150 over 2 months, and that's the rabbit hole you get into.
Right.
And his statement that he can't force anybody. Man, listen. If I was in the room, I probably would have tried to smack him. Because that is such nonsense. It's such nonsense. It's so disingenuous for him to make that such a statement. It's so disingenuous because they know what they're doing. These companies, I've read, they hire psychological consultants to figure out how they can compel, how they can make people get their hooks into people.
Right.
So they're hiring people that are mental doctors to try to fool you into spending your money on these digital goods, and they're doing it ridiculously. And it's
been working for a while, but people are getting hip.
I don't know, man. That Red Dead Redemption, as much as I love it,
man, if that thing has, if oh my god, dude, it's gonna hurt me to not buy that game if I have to.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but Battlefront 2 will not grace my gaming systems, and if Red Dead is coming out along these lines, it won't grace any of my gaming systems. As much as I've been wanting that game, I don't want it that bad. I refuse to support this road to microtransaction hell.
During that same conference, the CFO of EA made an even dumber statement, and I can't believe these guys have the audacity to keep coming out here and saying these ridiculous things, because what he came out said, and his name is Blake Jorgensen.
Yeah,
he said the reason why microtransactions weren't just for cosmetics is because if they did that, it would violate the canon of the Star Wars franchise, and that's something that they don't want to do. We can't have Darth Vader running around in a white or pink costume because that violates the canon.
Stop right there.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'll let you go. Go ahead.
So, Darth Vader has had multiple iterations of. He has multiple iterations. If you look at Star Wars canon, he has multiple iterations of his suit, of his Vader suit. I mean, you can go with the helmetless Darth Vader, the one that died. Everybody knows, Luke, I'm your father, whatever. That's not the way it goes. But there's many of things you can do. You can do the Luke Skywalker with the metal hand instead of two hands, because he has a prosthetic hand. Right. I mean, there's tons of things in canon that you can do cosmetically.
And the thing is, this game is kind of like a fantasy fever dream of non-canonness, because you have multiple characters across multiple generations you have the prequel series, the original series, and the current series all tied together in the same game, all meeting in the same places on planets that some of them have never even seen before. Right. So it's like you don't want to violate the canon when dealing with freaking cosmetics, but you could do it everywhere else.
Right. Where it really matters, right?
Where it really matters.
Because even though you don't want a pink Vader, maybe I do.
Right. I think a pink Vader would be dope.
Right. So, and again, if you go through the canon, I mean, the canon of Star Wars is huge. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of content out there that they can put in there. Again, there's alternate suits, alternate colors, alternate designs, with cape, without cape. It's nonsense.
It's nonsense. Yeah, and if
it's just that they felt that doing cosmetic only wouldn't generate enough interest in buying loot boxes.
And if that statement wasn't stupid enough, it was then found within the game that there is customer character customization. Sorry, I'm getting all tongue tied right now. Within Battlefield 2. Right. It was Battlefront. Sorry, and it wasn't enough that this is a feature that was available in Battlefront 1 with the character customization. It's also hidden within Battlefront 2. You can customize both the Rebel Alliance and the Star Troopers with different helmets, different colors, different costumes, and whatever. And with the Rebels, you can change their sex. You could change their species from some of the many different races in the Star Wars universe. So it's there, hidden in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he made this dumbass statement about how they can't do it because they don't want to violate the canon. Like whose man's is this right now? Like, I don't understand why EA just feels the need to shoot themselves in the foot all the time. It's like as if they didn't start enough of a shitstorm, then they come out with this BS, man. It's crazy.
They think that they're smarter than everybody else. That's the problem, and they're not.
Yeah, they're definitely not, because people have been showing their disapproval with their wallet. And the last story that we have revolving around EA and Star Wars is that they've lost $3.1 billion in stock value. $3.1 billion in stock value revolving around this Star Wars debacle.
Right, because their promise to investors is that they were going to generate tons and tons of revenue on these microtransactions, and these investors are seeing like, hey, people aren't buying their game because they don't want microtransactions. Star Wars Battlefront 2 didn't do well retail. I mean, it's already being discounted heavily. I've seen it for $34.99. I mean, they're trying to move as many as they can, but they just did a bad thing, and the fact that secretly or behind the scenes, there's concern that Disney might pull the license because of how it's being handled. And again, this is Disney's baby. It's messing with Disney's money.
Yeah,
you can't mess with Disney
movie
money.
Suffers because EA wanted more money out of gamers, like, it's a wrap for you. Mickey Mouse don't play that.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse do not play that. That's right. But yeah, so I mean, it's a whole. Listen, EA should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah,
they're horrible. And again, we talked about this last time. Last time we talked about EA and Battlefront 2 is there's a reason why EA is consistently voted one of the worst companies in the country. One of the worst companies all the time, like up there with Comcast and those guys, because they are a shitty company.
Yeah, and just blatant lying, just lying to people, just in their faces.
Right.
We cannot implement character freaking customization because it will violate the canon. Not only is it been done in the previous game, but it is hidden within the current game.
They just turned it off.
You just lied in my face, bro.
and on top of that, while you can play the heroes, my understanding is you get a generic character to play. Right. And that's the character that you get the customization on. I mean, why is that? How is that affecting any canon? It's nonsense. And then on top of that, what this EA, the UFC 3?
Yep.
Oh, they added the same type of microtransaction system in UFC 3 as they have in Battlefront 2.
Yep. Player progression is determined by loot boxes in UFC 3. Not only are fighters and techniques unlocked using a loot box style microtransactions or progression or whatever, freaking individual character stats are determined by these random events. So like, let's say we have the same character, right? I drop $100 on the game. I have a higher probability of punching you with a straight jab than you do if you just are playing the game
just doing the normal grind.
Just doing the normal grind. I can get a level 5 jab for my UFC fighter and will have a higher probability of hitting you because each attack is based off of some type of like RNG, and you can increase your probability of connecting via loot boxes.
Yeah,
And all of this is online. Like you can go online with a 5-star jab, and if I'm playing somebody with a 1-star or 2-star jab, I'm gonna jab you more.
Right,
and we have the exact same character.
And again, like you said, it is all determined by loot boxes, and somebody with deep pockets can go right. So when the game comes out, whenever it comes out, you buy it and you start to grind, and I buy it. I say, hey, I'm just going to drop an extra $60 and get me a shit ton of loot boxes. I'm whipping your ass.
Yeah,
you have no chance. And
just think of if any other fighting game did that.
Right, like
just think of Street Fighter came out and we both picked Chun-Li.
And you don't have the thousand leg kick because you didn't get the drop yet.
Yeah,
and I have it because I bought a bunch of loot boxes. It's nonsense.
It is nonsense. It is the craziest thing I've ever heard of, and it's I don't know because right now the game is still in beta, just like when Battlefront beta came out for the early access or the early adopters or whatever. People are upset. This is something that should not be in a competitive fighting game, dude. Like, or any game in general.
I don't know. I understand what the companies are trying. They want to monetize the game, but this loot box thing is just the wrong way to do it.
It's the wrong way to do it, man. And we mentioned this earlier. Loot boxes in sports games have been seen drastically different than in any other genre of games, because like you said with the Ultimate Teams. Go ahead and explain it for those who may not understand.
If you don't play Madden or FIFA, they have a mode called the Ultimate Team. It's FIFA Ultimate Team, Madden Ultimate Team. What it is like a fantasy team that you buy that you put together using card packs. Yeah. And when I say card packs, think of like back in the olden days. Maybe some of you are too young, but back in the olden days,
baseball cards or
you go to the store, buy a pack of baseball cards. You open it up, you get certain players. Well, that's what you get with the Ultimate Teams. You spend money, real life money. You can earn them in game, but it's faster if you spend money. Mm-hmm. And you get a pack of cards, anywhere from 5 to 15 cards, and you get players. The thing with these ultimate cards is you get players, you get uniforms, you get stadiums, you get a bunch of different stuff. But the thing with these cards is you get a player. So you're playing FIFA, and you get Ronaldo, or you get Messi, or you get Neymar. You get the card, but not only do you get the card, when you flip the card over, that player is only good for a set amount of games. Like the higher ranked the card is, the more games you play. It's anywhere from it'd be 1, 3, 5, or 10. And once you use that player for those amount of games, you can no longer use that player unless you have another one of his cards. Right. So that's the way they put you, they grip you. And FIFA Ultimate Team is so bad that there are literally it's been a huge problem in Europe where people hack accounts, buy shit tons of Ultimate Team cards, and run. It's been a problem. They buy them and gift them, or they buy gift cards, and they just run up your credit card with team purchases. It was a big deal. It's a huge deal. A couple of years ago, when they were doing that. But yeah, that's the way to do it. They get your hooks in. They get the hooks into you, and these people with the Ultimate Team, and that's how you play online. And when you hear about the Madden tournaments and you hear about the FIFA tournament, they're not playing with the stock teams. They're playing with the Ultimate Teams. Right. So those players that are playing those tournaments on the Ultimate Team, those players with those good teams, they spent a lot of money for those good teams.
And EA seems to just want to do that across the board with all of their games, especially the sports games. Like I've never been a fan of the UFC games, or I don't even watch UFC on TV. But I just thinking of the concept of picking the exact same character and yours just having like better frame data because you spent more money. Mm-hmm. Like that right there is crazy.
It's absurd. It's absurd. breathe.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
and
it is.
I don't know why EA thinks that it's the right time to do something like this. They have created a mass media freaking tidal wave of bad press for themselves.
Yeah.
And they just cannot help it
Well,
to just come out with this kind of crap.
we talked about it last week that there was a representative, a lawmaker out in Hawaii
Yeah.
that was speaking out against. There's a second lawmaker that came out, another Hawaiian lawmaker that came out to speak up against loot boxes. So they're garnering attention. And this second guy, basically, what he said, hey, look, listen, either you regulate yourselves or we're going to regulate you. And when you hear that, they can be slow. Maybe it'll take them 6 months, maybe take them a year, maybe take them 2 years. But if they add regulations, it's going to be onerous.
Right.
And the loot box system is going to be so onerous that the loot box system is not going to be profitable. So they need to get that act together and figure out what the hell they're going to do. But what EA is doing is horrible. And I've been on the record. I'm on the record as saying, like, when you look at loot boxes and microtransactions, when it's done the way Blizzard did it with Overwatch, I don't care, because it doesn't affect the way I play the game. It doesn't. Those loot boxes don't matter. If I'm a whore for the way my character looks and I want to buy loot boxes for cosmetics or sprays or whatever, that's fine. I mean, I have that option, but I don't feel like I need to buy that loot box to be good at the game or be able to compete at the game.
Right.
But when you look at stuff like the Ultimate Team that I just was talking about, when you look at stuff like this UFC or what they were trying to implement in Battlefield 2, Battlefront,
yeah.
When you look at that stuff where it gets to a point where for you to be competitive, you have to spend, that is a huge problem.
It's a no, man. And I don't know. My opinion on loot boxes may differ a little bit, because while it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect gameplay with cosmetics, it does create like this psychological thing where you're like, well, wow, this guy has like all of these cool outfits or whatever, and all these cool costumes or whatever, because just the way that they market them, even Overwatch, they market these like, oh, limited time, you'll never see it again. Like, people want those costumes. So in a way, all loot boxes, if it's random, it's not good, man.
Right. If it's
random, it's not good. If you are putting money into something, you should know what you're gonna get. Like,
it's true.
You should, if you want that costume, buy that costume, man. Because putting in $10-$20 into Overwatch or any game and not getting what I want, like, that's a problem. It's a problem. Right. It's a problem, because the one time you get what you want, it's like, oh yeah, like, I'm the shit, and you upload it to YouTube with 10,000 freaking. I searched freaking loot box on YouTube. There is a video of somebody opening up 1,000 Overwatch loot boxes on YouTube, and it has like mad views, but it's just like, why? I don't know.
Now, did he buy all of these, or did he grind them out?
I don't care. I just feel like the mindset that random loot boxes creates is toxic, man. It's a toxic mindset to have, and it's not good, man.
No,
like, cosmetic or not, random loot boxes is bad for gaming.
Yeah, here it is. Tech Mogul buys 1,000 Overwatch anniversary loot boxes, gets every single stand. He bought 1,000 loot boxes, so I'm sure that's a few $100s. I'm not exactly sure what the price on the loot boxes is. I think the most you can buy at a time is like 50. You can buy like the pack of 50, and I think it's like $50 or something like that.
Hell out of here, man.
So,
but yeah, so. This UFC thing, like, going forward, ever since the Battlefront debacle, going forward, every single company is going to be scrutinized. You're not going to be able to get away with this thing in sports games. You're not going to be able to get away with it in single player. You're not going to be able to get away with this no more. And EA needs to realize that before, the hammer comes down on this, man.
Well, it's on its way down. It's been lifted. The hammer has been lifted.
Yeah, they lifted it. It's on the way down, man.
Yep. Yeah, it sure has been. I mean, like you said, you get lawmakers involved, and EA's huge mistake. Their mistake was attaching it to
Star Wars, man.
Yeah, attaching to Star Wars, a mainstream darling like Star Wars. Attaching it to Star Wars caused them the biggest headache. If that game was called anything else but Star Wars, they might have been able to get away with it outside of the gaming community.
Right.
You know, inside the gaming community, we would have been upset, but people outside wouldn't have known. But
right, because we've been upset about loot boxes for a while now.
But when you see Fox News and CNN and MSNBC talking about loot boxes, you done fucked up.
Yeah, you done screwed the pooch, and they will never be able to get away with this kind of marketing or money scheme. They'll never be able to get away with this again without the masses coming down on them. And so get ready for the microtransactions to be temporarily disabled from UFC 3, which comes out in February, I believe.
Well, and the UFC games haven't been good since EA's had them, so that's beyond the point. I think before EA, I think it was a THQ that had UFC. And
I believe
those games were actually pretty decent. Ever since EA got it, it's been horrible. And I think what it was is it was competing, right? It was EA made one, and then the other developer made one, and then either they folded or EA signed an exclusivity deal, as they do, and it's been junk.
Yeah. So that essentially is this week in loot boxes. A lot of like high end executives coming down with these misguided statements or flat out lies, and EA and other companies trying to continue as per normal with the implementation of loot box style progression in other games. If I don't know, man, I would have thought that if they had learned anything from all of this, is that they probably shouldn't included in their upcoming release.
No.
If anything,
they don't care. They don't care. They're solely focused on their bottom line, to the detriment of anything and everybody else. And I'm sure Take-Two and Blizzard and Ubisoft and all those guys out there are really pissed at EA, because they're like, y'all, you don't mess it up now.
They messed it. They fucked it up for everybody, man.
Yep.
They pushed the bar a little too far, and now it's being pushed back, and nobody is gonna be getting paid the way that everybody's gonna report financial losses this financial year.
Yeah, if they hitch their wagon onto loot boxes, they will. But the problem is, and I'm gonna go look at Take-Two. There's the system when they have the system implemented in a way that the fans don't mind, or not even don't mind, but get used to. GTA 5, I'm looking at you. You don't hear anything about it, and the people that play those games just go with it.
Right. Yeah, if it's implemented in a way that's considered fair, then that's why I'm saying that all of it's bad, because you get into the mindset that like, oh well, if it's only cosmetics, it's fine. But only cosmetic loot boxes is what got us here.
Right.
So all of it's bad, man. All of it's bad, and all of it needs something drastic needs to happen.
The cosmetic loot boxes were essentially the gateway drug, right?
Right. It was the catalyst.
Well,
because now you're paying money for jabs in fighting games.
The true catalyst was the goddamn mobile games. That's what started it.
Yeah.
And then it went from mobile games. It jumped into premium games as, like you said, the cosmetics.
True. Yeah.
And now you got companies like EA that's trying to move it into the basic concept, the basics of the game.
Yeah.
Where you look at
Battlefront and
player stats and abilities and that type of thing. Yeah, that's a problem. And
It's a big problem.
It's like that in 2K basketball, right? Because when you spend the virtual currency, you buy virtual currency, and you can ramp up your stats. The only difference between the virtual currency,
you have to have virtual currency to increase your character stats. The only thing is, do you want to grind for hours, or do you want to get it now? Like,
right?
You know, it's all about preying on some type of like fault that you have. Like, so if you're impatient, you're gonna buy it because you don't have time. If you're getting salty, like with EA and, well, not EA, but Activision, and how they want to display like, oh, well, this guy, you know, used this weapon to practically own you. Would you like to buy it? And then they purposely put you into a match using their, you know, patented matchmaking that will effectively make that purchase seem like it was worth it. You know, if they were to implement that patent that they were working on, it's just preying on people's nature, man. It's just preying on the nature of being a freaking human. Like, you know, I don't have 6 hours to grind out for points on virtual currency.
No,
I'd rather get it now.
Right. They made the game. They made the game so slow that right. If you really want to level up, is in your best interest to purchase it. Right. You can, but I mean the amount of time it'd take you to go from a bench warmer to a superstar is just untenable. And
right, and even in like, you know, single player games, like I told you, like, and I've had nothing but good things to say about Assassin's Creed Origins, but they have, you know, the Helix credits, which cost real money, and you use those Helix credits for what are called time savers in game, where you basically just use in-game money to get either crafting materials that you would otherwise have to, you know, run around the world and, you know, kill like mad animals for, or for money, which you would like have to like run around the world and, you know, kill mad bad guys and, you know, sell their weapons. I remember in freaking Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you could send like NPCs out on missions, and they would, you know, bring you money, and you like just had this robust like network of like funds coming in based on your actions. Now it's considered a time saver, and it costs like real money. It's ridiculous, man. So it's all bad in my opinion. All of it's bad, and I'm actually happy that this happened to EA, because like we were saying, it was gonna take something, you know, so drastic in order to actually get the ball rolling on some real change. Yeah,
move that needle. Yeah, exactly.
But God, I mean, we can go on about this, and we're probably going to go on about this next week when EA decides to shoot themselves in the foot again.
The other foot,
yeah. But I think that's enough as far as this week in loot boxes is concerned. Let us know what you guys think. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? We would love to know and hear your opinion on this, because it's a story that's not going to go away anytime soon. So let's just go ahead, get the discussion going, and get a back and forth going as far as what you guys think. You can leave comments down in the comment section, or just hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think about this topic about loot boxes. You know, because I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. I'm sure Boogie does too. But yeah, so let's go ahead and end that and go on to the next topic, which is going to be our final thoughts. And this is where we retrace our steps and pick and choose a couple of stories that we referenced today and just kind of give our 2 cents on it. Boogie, why don't you go ahead and start us off? What are your final thoughts?
Let's see. Starting off, we had the cereal. I wouldn't touch those sugar bombs. I wouldn't touch those sugar bombs with a 1,000-foot spoon. Assassin's Creed Rogue. I'm definitely interested. Hopefully this rumor turns out to be true. Because if it is, I'm definitely getting that one. Playground games. It'd be interesting. I want to hear more about it. I'm still, and there's no word. This is just conjecture and and such. But I wonder if this is really going to be a push by Microsoft to work on getting exclusive content for their platform. It'd be interesting to see what it is they're working on and where it's going to show up. The Fortnite lawsuit, Mom, man, look, listen. You pay attention to your kids. Put Facebook down. Turn off the Real Housewives. You saying you didn't give him permission is nonsense. And obviously your child has a hard time listening to or following
instructions.
Following instructions or a hard time respecting authority, because it's him that refusing to comply with the DMCA takedown that has you in this mess, and not Epic that's has you in this mess. So don't blame Epic, blame your child. It's his fault. The December free games, the Darksiders game, definitely a must get if you haven't already have it. The rest of the stuff, I skip it.
Ass.
Nintendo Switch, the holiday sales, like I said, and just strictly in the gaming world, the Xbox One and PlayStation are pretty much saturated. They've sold as much as they're going to sell more, but they're not going to be the hottest selling console because there's so many of them already out on people's shelves at home. And the Nintendo Switch, which had been for the past, this is now December, so the past 9 months has been extremely constrained. Now being readily available, and especially with the Mario game out, a lot of people are going to want to pick it up, and it doesn't surprise me that it's selling good. Bungie, I think they took a coward's way out by canceling the live stream just because they didn't want to have to deal with people's questions. Because at the beginning, initially they said, "Oh, we're going to do this live stream and we're going to take your questions," and then it went from that to like, "Oh, we're just going to do a blog post." I think that's coward. I think that's cowardly. They need to fix their game.
They need to address their fans. That's what they need to do.
It's horrible that they just went back to they basically started over from scratch after making all the progress over the past 3 years. It's disappointing. The PlayStation 2017 PlayStation Awards, some surprise. I mean, the shooters were surprising. Nothing else was. And then Minecraft selling 2 million copies. That's another runaway juggernaut. I mean, we talk about Grand Theft Auto selling 1 million copies and being so old, but Minecraft is older,
right? And
it's sold twice as many, right? So
on a non-Microsoft style platform too.
Exactly. Yeah. And loot boxes are bad.
Loot boxes are bad. That's pretty much all you can say. As far as I'm concerned, you know what? I may buy a $7 box of Nintendo cereal just as a collector's item, just to have it in the house, and just, I don't know, because I don't think this is the first time we've actually had a Mario cereal. I can remember
there was a Mario
cereal back in the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah,
there was.
It'll be kind of cool to see how many people try to sell it once the run stops. That's going to be funny. Assassin's Creed Rogue, if it's true, I'll definitely be picking it up. It's one of the mini games that I wish I had bought when it was out, especially after the disappointing Assassin's Creed Unity, which is what I bought instead. I need more information on the Playground Games open world RPG. Mm-hmm. It'll be very nice to have an Xbox exclusive, and just like you said, hopefully this is part of the push of first party and exclusive titles that will be coming to the Xbox. They definitely need those. They desperately need exclusive games. They need a reason for people to turn on their Xbox, as opposed to turning on or booting up Steam or turning on their PlayStation 4s. And hopefully this game could be one of those reasons. As far as the Fortnite lawsuit, man, Mom, go ahead and get that pocketbook ready. You're gonna be paying some money. Did he monetize the video or?
I don't think he monetized the video.
But still broke terms of service. So hopefully, Epic Games will be lenient. It won't, ask for too much. Like what are you asking for? They told him
to take down the game.
Oh yeah.
The DMCA rewards. They're set, and I forgot what they are. There's a set there's a set scale of awards based on the violation. I think it's like up to $100,000 per violation or something like that.
Ooh, well, depending on how many views that thing got.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but
devastating.
Yeah, there's a set schedule of penalties for the violator.
Yeah.
So if
let's hope that while because this guy is he's the fall guy. He's the one that's being made an example of, and they are well within their right to do that. He didn't follow the terms of service. This is the next step. So we'll see what happens. They definitely shouldn't have put his information out there since he's a minor, though.
It's his own fault. They said take it down, and he didn't. And the DMCA is fined up to $500,000 and 5 years in jail.
Oh God, this kid's gonna send his freaking mom to jail.
No, it says up to $500,000 or 5 years. So again, depending on the number of views and how bad the violation is. I mean, Epic may just say a couple $1,000 and
stop.
No jail time, right?
yeah. Hopefully, the December games for PlayStation Plus, Darksiders 2, and that is all. The Nintendo Switch dominating holiday sales, to be expected. They finally got them in stock, so it makes sense that they would sell them. And Bungie, I mean, they need to address their fan base. I mean, I am not a fan, or not that I'm not a fan, but I have not been playing Destiny. I dropped off of the first Destiny after the vanilla version. Like, I didn't even get the first expansion after that. So I've been totally out of loop. And, my perception of Bungie kind of aligns with how I felt when they were making the Halo games. They were, up there as one of like the white knights of the game development, circle or whatever you want to call it. So with all of this coming out, all this bad press for those guys, it makes me feel a certain kind of way. And I hope that they can fix it, because
I think part of the reason that they're having this type of trouble is because of their publisher.
Well, yeah, Activision, they all about that cash at all costs, cash at all costs. But hopefully they can fix it. The PlayStation Awards, a very strange award show or award ceremony as far as I'm concerned. Like, why is there a user choice awards where all the games win? Like, I don't get that. The only true winner is Minecraft. That's the only true winner in my opinion. And yeah, man, loot boxes is bad. This is the last time we're going to hear about it. So I don't know. Something has to give, and it will give very soon, in my opinion. But yeah, those were our final thoughts. Let us know what you guys think. Hit us up on Twitter. We are at AW Gaming NS. We are also on Facebook, a weekly gaming news show, or you could just use the call letters AWGNS. Hit us up on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because not only do we upload the podcast episodes there every Monday at noon, Boogie also has the weekly gaming news 10 and 10 for those of you that do not have 2 hours to sit through a podcast episode. The weekly gaming news 10 and 10 gives you a 10-minute or less snippet into the week's gaming stories, and some of which will be discussed on the podcast. I also do my first impressions for games that I have in my library that I haven't played yet. So yeah, check us out, man. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. There's all sorts of new stuff that we are planning, and we would like for you guys to be a part of it. If you're taking us on the go using your favorite podcasting app, we definitely want to thank you for that. And for those that would like to take us on the go, Boogie, why don't you let them know exactly where they can reach us?
Okay, we are in the general podcasting directory, so if you're using any kind of podcatcher, just search us, a weekly gaming news show, or call letters AWGNS. We're also specifically in iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio. Again, using our call letters AWGNS, or search us, a weekly gaming news show.
Yes, and like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Rate us on your favorite podcasting app as well, and give us some suggestions, whether they're just stories that you would like us to talk about, questions that you would like to ask us, video game related or otherwise. And also, suggestions for the show in general. If there's anything that we can do to make this a better show for you, let us know. We're always open to, suggestions, and we do take all of your comments and criticisms. We take those to heart, and, we're more than, happy to hear you guys out on that front. But I think that we've talked enough for one Sunday. We're going to go ahead and close things out here. Again, this is a weekly gaming news show, episode 77, and we are your hosts. My name is Trenell.
I'm Todd.
And we will catch you guys next week.
Peace.